A lot of men out there feel like they're walking on eggshells with their women. They're trying to lead, but they don't want to be too nice. They don't want to control her, but they also don't want to be passive. One moment she says she wants a man who takes charge, and the next day she's calling him controlling. So now he feels stuck between two extremes, either being a tyrant or he's a doormat, and she doesn't want either of them. And neither one for him feels like the right one. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to actually lead as a man in a way that your woman will always be receptive to. Not from ego, but from a grounded sense of security.
So, what does leadership in a romantic relationship actually mean? And what does it not mean? Is it decision making, direction, setting the tone, taking responsibility? Like, what does it really mean?
It's a powerful question. This is the question of our day, right? Mm-hmm. What does leadership actually mean in a romantic relationship? So as always, we have to know what we're discussing so everybody's on the same page.
Right.
So we need to define what leadership is in general,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're going to define it at the level of just the technical term of the word, and we're going to define it in terms of what that looks like in the individual man's life, and then we're going to define what that looks like in terms of what women mean by it. Because if a guy is like, this is what leadership is, this is what leadership is, and when a woman says, this is what I want a leader, what does she mean? Because there needs to be an understanding of what both parties are saying.
Right.
Agreement is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we want the same thing, but we're speaking two different languages.
Yeah.
So leadership in a technical definition kind of way is where someone is going in a direction and people are choosing to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is going in a direction and people are choosing to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a couple of critical components in that definition. Someone, it didn't say any particular kind of person, someone is going in a particular direction. And so it means that someone is making the first step towards something, because we're all moving through life all the time.
Yeah.
We're always heading somewhere. Even if we're standing still, we're heading somewhere, because time doesn't stand still.
Right.
So if we, for example, if we stand still, if it was possible for me to stand still for 20 years, I would still have moved. Why? Because I'd have aged, right? And so technically, the direction I decided to go in was to stay still and allow life to go on without me changing much about my life.
Right.
Right? If it were possible as a thought experiment. So there is no such thing as not going in a particular direction in life.
Right.
So fundamentally, leadership is choosing the direction we go into. Choosing the direction we go into. Now, for leadership to occur, there must be followers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we could go say, oh, well, how about leading our own lives? Who's the follower? You're the follower. How can I be the follower if I'm the only person? You're not the only person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a different conversation that I really should have. I'm going to do a whiteboard series on the 4 aspects of the self. If you're saying that, if you've ever said in your life, I wasn't acting like myself, I said I was going to do something, but I didn't, you ever broke your word. If you were in singular control of yourself all the time, discipline wouldn't be necessary.
Right.
Discipline is only necessary because there are forces within you that also want things that are potentially in opposition of what the identity you think of as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So you may say, I'm going to the gym 5 times this week. The ideal identity within you that typically, we could say typically runs to show your conscious identity, your conscious self-image, your conscious ego said that. He's making a declaration, but it's more accurate to say he's making a declaration in a room rather than making a declaration in isolation. He's making a declaration in a group. And so he's really saying, hey, group, hey, body, hey, previous self-image that doesn't think I am capable of much. Hey, social mask that I wear to get approval from other people. Hey, so let's all do this.
Yeah.
And then you have to, the strategy for most, either hope that when the time comes to do the thing you need to do, so the next morning you say you're getting up at 5 a.m. to do the workout, the identity that made the declaration, which is the one that governs your will, should go, I know biological self is going, don't feel like it because we're groggy and tired in this moment and it's cold outside and all these things. I know the social aspect of myself is going, what am I doing? This is embarrassing. I'm going to be embarrassed if I go to anywhere except Planet Fitness because, I'm going to see all these attractive, fit people and I'm going to be the one that's out of shape. I can't keep up.
Right.
You're all these different voices within your head. And again, I'm going to make a separate thing on that, going deep into the different aspects of the self and pointing out that you're actually talking to a room of separate identities within yourself whenever you make a declaration rather than just, quote unquote, telling yourself what to do.
Right.
It's not how it works.
Right.
But let's say that is the case and you make a declaration. You're trying to govern the direction that your body moves when the time comes. Do you stay in bed or do you get up? So you're trying to lead yourself. You're trying to lead yourself. Therefore, there are multiple people. There's you and then the others that refute or refuse when the time comes to do what you said you were going to do. That's how it's possible to not keep your word.
Right.
So now that we've established and addressed that, even in leading yourself, there's another person. There's another entity, another being within. Going back to leadership as a whole, a leader requires followers by definition, and a follower requires a leader. It's dual. So if we said in the beginning that leadership is the somebody going in a direction and then people choosing to follow, then we've established what the leader's job is, right? To pick the direction and move towards it.
Yeah.
But why would anybody follow a particular person? Why not just go whatever direction that they want to go for their own benefits, right? That's because of primarily two reasons. The person that's following perceives the leader as more competent. And so if I'm going to go to New York and I've never been to New York and I'm leaving from Texas, let's say no GPS has existed. If I tried to go to New York on my own, could I get there? Yes. May it take longer or maybe I'll never get there, most likely. So I may go, okay, well, I need to find somebody who's gone from Texas to New York. In that going from Texas to New York, which is going to be an uncertain journey, there are going to be unknowns in the future that I can't predict.
Yeah.
I need to feel safe and I need to make sure that it's likely that I'll get there. I may need to make sure that it's probable I'll get there. Otherwise, the journey may have too many risks and I may end up losing everything in pursuit of the direction or the vision that I'm in pursuit of, in the case, New York. So what I'm going to do is see if I can find somebody who can help me.
Right.
I'm going to see if I can find somebody who's been to New York before or somebody who's maybe not been to New York before. So the first one is people follow people who have been to where they want to go before. So the likelihood of them getting to the destination is very high. So people follow people who are competent. They have a high likelihood of getting to the destination. Secondly, people follow people who are good at handling the potential adversities that will come. So let's say neither of them have gone to New York. They can both engage on the journey separately. So we're both going to find New York separately. Good luck, good luck. Mm-hmm. They could team up and go, okay, we're both going to go to New York. But somebody has to make the first step. Because there are going to come times where in that journey to finding New York, they know it exists, but neither of them have been there before. Somebody has to take the first step. And in each first step, there's a risk. Yeah. Because you're going into an unknown that you've never explored before. Right. And so the question then becomes, who makes the first step? Whoever makes the first step is whoever the leader is in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so whoever makes the first step gets the authority of we're going in this direction, but they also get the responsibility if the direction is the wrong one. Mm-hmm. So if the choice is incorrect, they have to suffer the potential actual consequences. Yeah. Right. Meaning they may lose sleep, they may lose food, they may go in some direction that yields really negative outcomes. Mm-hmm. And they have to take the social shame of picking the wrong direction. They have to lose face in the eyes of the people who were following them. Right. Because now they just displayed that maybe I don't know where I'm going. And in that, there's a sense of decrease in your perceived status in the eyes of the people who are following you. Right. And then on top of that, in order for you to get that perceived status back or that level of respect back, you have to correct everything and go back and find the right path. Right. Or they're going to stop following you. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. So that's a good bit of pressure. So sure, those who follow you will go, yes, I'm going to follow the direction you go. But if you lead us in the wrong direction, you have to be willing to address the consequences of the mistake, and you have to address the consequences and take the brunt of losing face. Right? The social pain and the actual whatever. It could be a financial pain, it could be a physical, whatever mistake it was. Right. And then you're going to have to correct it. Otherwise, they'll go, well, maybe you're not going to be qualified to help me. That's the follower's language. Maybe you're not qualified to help me get to where I also want to go. Because the follower only follows the leader because it's in their best interest. Right. People think followers are people who are just almost subhuman, and it's a negative thing. Right. Everybody follows. It's just a question of when you go and read a book by somebody, you're following their lead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. You're going, hey, you've navigated a particular pathway in life, mm-hmm. and I think you're qualified enough or demonstrated competence enough to where I'm going to trust the information in this book. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to invest my time into it, because we always say what allows us to get to the destination we want, what stops us from getting to the destinations we want, what we don't know, what we can't do. Yeah. And so the gateway to being able to know something and do something is knowledge. Mm-hmm. Knowledge and then practice. Mm-hmm. Develop skill, right? And then skill gives you power. So if you want to go anywhere, then you need to learn something new that you don't already know, if you're trying to go somewhere you've never been, at least. Right. So following is normal, mm-hmm. right? But not everybody wants to lead, because if you lead, there are risks. Right. And there's no guarantee at times for the leader to get support from those who follow him. There's no guarantee. Mm-hmm. When you're leading, it'd be lovely if your followers supported you when things crumble, but it's not a guarantee. You're not entitled to support when you're the leader. Mm. And that's where a bulk of the risk is. If your followers, if those supporting you say, hey, you're incompetent, we're going to go our own way, that's the game. Yeah. They have every right to do so. Right. And so you may end up getting in a situation that you've chosen to go into, because as a leader, you have to take full accountability, that you've led everybody into. It's one big disaster, and they say, I'm bouncing. It's cold. Mm-hmm. It is cold. They have every right to do so.
Yeah.
And so as the leader, we're just talking about the definition of leader. Then we're going to go into romantic relationships.
Right.
Because it gets more complicated and it's not as cold in a romantic relationship.
Right.
But if we're talking about just the baseline of a leader, you're entitled to nothing. You're not entitled to anybody to follow you. Mm-hmm. They have sovereignty and free will, agency, sentient, like they have no obligation to continue to follow you at any point.
Right.
And so if you desire for people to keep following you, because what's the benefit of following? They're willing to support you in the direction you decide to go.
Exactly.
So if I try to go in a direction on my own, or if I try to go in a direction with the support of 100 other people, I can go there further and faster with the support. Mm-hmm. But if I'm continually making mistakes and not correcting the mistakes, or I make mistakes and then I blame my followers, they're going to abandon you. Or they're not going to have a lot of respect and trust for the next thing you say to do. Right. Because if you go the wrong direction and then you point the finger at them and go, well, I went to this wrong direction because of you, they're like, okay, well, I guess I'm the leader.
Yeah, it's valid.
And you should be following me.
Right.
If you're going to blame me for everything that goes wrong, then I'm the leader.
Right.
So if we come back full circle and we flesh that out, we understand the pros and cons, the payoffs, the cost and benefit analysis of leadership and being a follower. If we're going back to going to New York, people followed people because they're likely to get them there certainly or speedily, or because they've seen evidence of them navigating terrains where they've never been there before, but they've shown evidence of no matter whatever they put their mind to, they might not have done it.
Yeah.
They'll keep going, they'll figure it out, they'll pivot. Mm-hmm. And so those in the following will go, we don't know where we're going, but I've seen evidence in the example of this person that when they put their mind to something, no matter what happens, they're going to figure it out.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so their level of self-sufficiency can be so high that it can cover everybody else that follows them.
Okay.
Because everybody wants to fundamentally, on the biological level, survive.
Right.
Right. And since survival is never guaranteed, we could die at any given moment, we're going to hedge against prolonging our life as best as possible. And prolonging our life as best as possible, especially as social animals, being humans, will almost always involve other people.
Right.
So the question is, who are the people I'm going to surround myself with that can lead to me getting to the places I want to get to and surviving as we go there?
Right.
Those are the leaders people will choose. Now, going into the male-female dynamic, we talked about this before, but what is as a baby girl and a baby boy is born into the world, mm-hmm. Are there any differences? And I'm not even talking about the social differences. I'm talking about their biological imperatives, right? What's the difference between a man and a woman fundamentally? Their sex organs, right? We both have heads, ears, eyes, nose, lips, 4 appendages, 2 arms, 2 legs. The sexual, you can even have breasts and nipples, but the sexual organs are the core differentiators.
Right.
So if the core differentiators between us are the sexual organs, and touched on this before, but the equipment something possesses, like a hammer having a hard or a flat sort of surface, is built into it because of the function it has. Right. The function it has is to, let's say, hit nails down. Nails have a flat surface so they can collide with the hammer to be hit down. Like, those two things are interdependent.
Right.
Meaning the way the thing is designed is under the basis of the function it's supposed to serve. Mm-hmm. Right? So a tree doesn't have leaves just 'cause. Right? It doesn't have roots just 'cause. Like, the entire ecosystem of nature is intentional and purposeful.
Right.
Right. It's possible that a thing, let's say, if you want to look at it in form of evolution, it's possible that a thing that once had use no longer has use in the further evolved version of the thing, right? So if, no human beings, sometimes I believe the tailbone is said to not have any functional use, but it's still within human beings, right? It could be a case where the functional use is just not known, and we just say it doesn't have a functional use, or perhaps it had a functional use at one point and we no longer need it, right? But the point is that when a thing's body is designed a certain way, it's because it's giving a clue, nature's giving a clue as to what the function of it is. Right. So men are born with penises and women are born with vaginas. And women are born with wombs. And the womb is the only thing that can reproduce another human being. A woman has the ability to reproduce another human being. Men cannot.
Yeah.
Right. So if a woman is the only sex that can reproduce other human beings, that means extinction and non-extinction is in the hands of the woman. Yeah. So women in any species, the feminine, the female, is responsible for extinction. Now, obviously, we could all blow the entire planet up, and that has nothing to do with reproduction. But we're talking about within the context of just all things being natural, right? No external technological forces. Women are responsible. Women hold the gateway for whether or not extinction occurs.
Right.
So, what is the baby boys? So that's fundamental. Like, women are born with that. Yeah. Men are also born producing sperm. So technically, the male can always aid in the reproduction or the repopulation of humanity as well. He's a necessary component. However, there is one variable within this, which is that women are sovereign, so they can say no. Meaning, not because the boy has a penis and the girl was born with a vagina, say they were born at the same time. The girl has a vagina, inherently valuable, and inherently will be able and likely will produce a child unless she chooses not to. Yeah. Or a complication within her body. Right. The male growing up with that same woman, let's assume
they're like next door neighbors.
Yeah, and it's not like, there's a physical deformity in either of them. They're normal. Whether or not that male or that woman is receptive to that male will depend upon how the male chooses to develop himself. Okay. So her going yes or no to I want to replicate you, which is what pregnancy means. I'm going to replicate this man through me. Yeah. Right. So a woman has the option to say no to men. And in the option to say no is where a lot of how a man operates starts. Right. If a woman says no to a man, the question is why? Right. If one woman says no to a man, that's one thing. If 10 women say no to a man, that's one thing. If 1,000 women say no to a man, that's one thing. If all women say no to a man, right? So this goes a little deeper than leadership, and I'm not going to go too deeply into that. But my point is that in a woman's ability to say no and select the men that she allows inside her and risk pregnancy for, especially, given the fact that throughout history there was no birth control, condoms weren't in nature as far as I can tell. So there's usually a risk of pregnancy every time a woman chose to have sex with a man, right? And or at least within whatever window, whenever we learn about ovulation periods, and we're talking baseline human beings, those are things we learned and paid attention to over time. I don't know if, I guess it's not impossible, maybe we're just, but the earliest form of human beings might not have had that information. They observed the patterns over time and went, oh, there's a certain window when women are fertile and da-da-da-da and all these things. Mm-hmm. But at the baseline, at the end of the day, a woman kind of understands that she could get pregnant by this person. Mm-hmm. And in that pregnancy, she would be bounded to him. And if she's bounded to him, especially being a lifelong binding, what kind of men do I want to replicate? And who do I want to be binded to? Those are two different questions.
Right.
Whose baby do I want to have? I mean, whose traits do I want to replicate into the world? Mm-hmm. Right, because the baby's going to replicate the mother's traits. She knows what traits she has that she's going to replicate. But she controls what traits get replicated through the man.
Yeah.
So, what traits does she want replicated in her child? Mm-hmm. And who does she want to be bonded to for the rest of her life? Right. Potentially, right? Because as long as that child's alive, you're bonded, whether you're married or not. Like, yeah. That man will always be in existence in the child in front of you. Mm-hmm. So, this is where a lot of the popular theories of dual mating, they have sex with the guy that they really want and marry the guy that they think is a good father and all that. That's where those theories tend to emerge from. Yeah. Whether that's true or not, that's a whole different conversation. Right. It's not that simple, but I can understand how, particularly men that don't have a lot of experience with women, can conceptualize the behavior in that way. Mm-hmm. But in that, now that young man growing up as he continues to get rejected or hear, no, I don't want you to have sexual access to me. That's fundamentally what the woman is saying. I don't want you to have sexual access to me. Mm-hmm. So he has to reflect and go, well, why not? I want sexual access to her. Why does she want sexual access to me? And in that's where a lot of the different methods of, even in the modern day time, that's where it's like, oh, it's about resources. If you have the resources, then the women will say yes to you. It's about having a nice body. If you have a nice body, then the women will say. And so a lot of the average man's motivation, and particularly in his youth, gets boiled down to how can I make as many women that I want to have sex with say yes to me as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's usually where the baseline motivation starts. Sometimes he can evolve out of that. Sometimes through, whether it's religious doctrine or whatnot, he can prioritize his relationship with God over his desire for sex. But even sometimes that can be really just, if I broke it down enough, it's about getting some pussy as well. Yeah. So he's like, okay, I want female affection. I want to reproduce. That's wired in the guy. But none of the women are saying yes to me. So what do I need to change about myself so that he may start observing, well, what men are they saying yes to? Because they're saying yes to some guys. Right. What are they like? Who are they? And the men, and this is the critical part coming back to leadership in terms of romantic relationships, the men women are saying yes to, they're the ones that benefit the women. Mm. Now, to a man's point of view, so the question becomes, as I said, who does she benefit from? Mm-hmm. And this is where a lot of guys get lost. They then go, I'm going to look at a woman and be a woman, and I'll explain what I mean by this. Be a woman in the sense that what she craves from men should make sense to me. Mm. Mm. And so when guys think about what women want, they go where what they're really doing is thinking about what would I want if I were a woman. But you can't be a woman. So the only way to know what women value is to observe their behaviors.
Yeah.
Right. And not judge the behavior, because fundamentally it's not as if, and this is I think something that I see men go two different ways with this. If women are choosing certain men,
Yeah.
right, and they want certain things, and there's certain behavioral patterns that are just easily observed, and we usually go, that's her nature, right? And so let's stop right there, her nature, right? Let's assume that the things are, because there are things that are male nature and female nature, right? And let's say it's her nature to prefer a man that, if she can get to replicate the baby of the best man she can secure, right? I don't think too many women would say, oh, well, I'll take a mid-range guy if the superior option to him is available.
Right.
Now, what guys do is they think they know what superior means. And they measure superior by how men measure superiority as they're looking at other men. When the woman means superior, she means something different. And we'll go into what she means. And in that selection, when the guy looks at, well, he should be superior based on my male value system.
Right.
But she's with him and has his child. How is he superior? He's broke. He's da 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 da. Oh, and so then the guy starts to go, it must be because of these things about the man. But he likely almost never have actual conversations with thousands of women in both observing their behavior and having conversations about, like, actual conversations. Because as a woman, there are only certain men you're going to actually tell the truth to.
Yeah.
About what really happens. Most guys, if they try, you're going to give him the surface or completely lie. And so unless you're one of the guys that she'll actually, in just droves of women, will tell you the real men they're choosing, then you're going to have a perception that it can be somewhat accurate, but it's never the deep down truth, because it's going to be skewed.
Yeah.
And then you're going to gather around with other men with skewed perceptions. And how can we know the perception is skewed? Well, how do women treat them? They usually don't have their pick of the litter. The guy online complaining about women is not a guy that gets a lot of women.
Right.
Right. And I don't mean...
Yeah, what would he be complaining?
The guys who... And I don't mean this in a negative way. But there are far more guys out there that are... And we're talking both in terms of the short-term sexual encounters. We have a great abundance of those. And there are guys who actually do very well in long-term relationships. Well-meaning, the girl's happy to be there, he's happy to be there. She treats him how a guy wants to be treated. She feels like she's being treated a similar way. Right? And I say feels like she's been treated because that's another contention point. I treated her so right, and then she just left or cheated on you. Like, well, and that's, again, coming back to how men see the situation and what women actually value.
Right.
So if you haven't had that sample size, that data size, you're going to have skewed data. Now, this is a big pride hit for an average guy, right? Like, and I don't say average in like you're sub below and you're not a high value man and all that nonsense. I just mean because you're going to have extremes of both sides. You have the guy who he needs a serious intervention to ever reproduce. And then you have the guy who a variety of women, gorgeous women, whatever the standard for the desirable woman is, a variety of them would choose him. Right. And so guys go, okay, well, haven't met these women, I haven't talked to these women, I haven't had the sample size of the guys these women are choosing. I just see what they publicly say they would choose. I don't actually know who they're having sex with.
Right.
That's a very big difference.
Right. Yeah.
That's a very, very big difference. But the guys who are average looking guys, nothing crazy in the way that are having sex with a bunch of the women who publicly men are thinking are, oh, you got to be a billionaire. The average guy at her job, at the grocery store, you never talk to that guy. And he's not on the internet telling you about it. Mm-hmm. Right. And that guy might not have a big incentive to come online and tell you. Or if you're in that demographic of guys who like understanding, you're not going to be in this circle. Right. Sometimes those circles will mix, but usually, it's not this. I'm talking guys who really, really know women, and women really tell what they do, really show. No, it's not let me pay you for sex through a date, or let me pay you for sex through my lifestyle. I'm talking the guy who women only have sex with simply because they want to have sex with him. No other reason. Mm-hmm. That's the guy who actually knows. Right. Right. And so, going back down to paying attention to a woman's behavior. If you see who she's actually choosing, who she's actually craving, usually when she's with those guys, she does something that all women who find a man she craves naturally does.
And what's that?
I'm glad you asked. She follows his lead. Yeah.
Facts.
It's not a he's like, hey, come over here with me.
It's more like a she on your heels about it. Like, oh, I want to be where he at.
I want to be where he is. Mm-hmm. That's the sentence.
Yeah.
It's not about, I want to follow. Why don't she follow? The woman, all women have the capacity to get to a place where she thinks, I want to be wherever he is. Mm-hmm. Not, oh, I want to be his follower, or I want him to. Now, she can want to be where he is and want him to take her where he is. Because that's a big difference. She can just follow him, but he's not leading. Right? So she's like, and that's where usually a woman will get to a situation where she feels like she keeps initiating. She wants to be wherever he is, but he doesn't lead it there. Yeah. So she's breadcrumbing all the time.
Like, where are we? Like,
or not even that. It may be like, oh, I'd love to see you sometime soon. And he's like, oh, do you want to hang out this weekend? It's not that he didn't want to hang out this weekend. He just, man, I've had so many clients like this. It's like, I don't know, man. I just didn't plan anything. Like I didn't, and usually that's a symptom of that's just how they move through life.
Yeah, yeah.
Very,
go with the flow.
Whatever the emotion of the moment is dictates my behavior. Yeah. Other than like actual responsibilities that they have to show for.
Right.
Job, that kind of thing. Where somebody else says you have to be here. Mm-hmm. But in the rest of their life is usually very. And so because of that, when a woman is in that state where I want to be wherever he is, in those moments, the primary thing she wants to do, and this is like in the beginning, then when the family is being built, that's a whole different dynamic as well. But in that beginning phase, her primary desire is to be basking in the good feelings. Mm-hmm. She does not, because if she has to come up out of her emotional state to tell you where to go or to direct herself, the level of intensity, the level of depth of experience, the level of depth of excitement, love, happiness, bliss, it has to be diminished or diluted in order for her to lead herself or lead you.
Yeah.
Because she can't be basking too deeply in her feelings because she needs to make sure she's watching her back. Mm. So when those women meet the kind of guys they want, the kind of guys they'd want to reproduce through them, the first thing, that's usually the first step. What kind of guy do I want and I'm willing to have a baby for. Right. I'd be excited to have his child if I had to. Even if a woman doesn't want children, it's because it's a sexual relationship, sex has to be built into it. So again, birth control and contraception, those are modern inventions. That wasn't a feature. So in some sense, you kind of always have to take that into account.
Yeah.
Would I have his child? If it's no, or if I would be excited, you could say more accurately, would I be excited? Mm-hmm. If it's no, and sometimes the guy's child that she would have and the guy that she's attracted to are different guys, right? And that's, again, I'm trying to keep this conversation simple and tie down into the leadership piece. Because she naturally wants to go, or more accurately be where he is because of how she feels within his presence, she'll naturally want to follow his lead. Because in her mind, she's not thinking about it as I'm following is some kind of negative thing. Right. It's more like I expect you as the man to be doing some stuff because self-sufficiency, the ability to survive on your own, women understand that as the man, that's something that he has to be able to handle. Nobody's coming to save him once he hits manhood.
Right.
Whereas a woman, self-sufficiency isn't always mandatory.
Right.
Right. She can either find a man that could help her with her survival, or she can be, it's a lot more like, actually, even in the case of marriage, how the father passes the daughter, it's far more normal for the woman to remain covered until that's where the handing her off thing. You can argue there's some possessiveness and the whole, we're not having no patriarchy nonsense conversation. We're talking about just what it was, right? So he's saying that, hey, the responsibility of this woman was on me as her father, and you as her husband have to take on that responsibility.
Exactly.
So in that support is almost permanent all the time. Now, it's really since more recent times where a woman's self-sufficiency, like women have fought, like we want to be able to be self-sufficient on our own, because obviously with lacking self-sufficiency, you have less power in certain domains, right? Because the person who's providing or supplying your survival will have a certain amount of authority over you. That's true, right? It's always a trade-off. You can trade self-sufficiency, and nobody has quote-unquote authority over you, but you also are completely responsible for your survival. So every consequence falls on your shoulder, which means more stress, more burden, more. And so that's really been the conflict. And that's a whole different conversation with the modern times of women want to be self-sufficient so that they're not in a situation where if the person becomes a person that they no longer want to be with, they can exercise their desire to leave.
Right.
So, but going back, women have an expectation of a man to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So she knows, well, if there's an expectation of him being self-sufficient, and then that's not on me, then I can't expect him to be following me around.
Right. Right.
Like, don't you have your survival to take care of? And he's thinking about, oh yeah, but what if we just spend all day together and love each other? That's repugnant to a woman. Sometimes she's conscious of why and can articulate it in the way that I just did. But sometimes it's a feeling, ugh. Yeah. And a guy, if he's been indoctrinated in that way of thinking, is going, but I was so nice and loving and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Yeah, but you violated your fundamental position as the man, right? And so, because she knows self-sufficiency is mandatory for the man, she understands in some sense that she won't always have his attention, which is an actual natural balance point. So I won't have his attention all day because he needs to make sure that he's good. And if you're under his, if you're his responsibility, he's going to need to make sure you're good too.
Right.
So that's instinctual. And in that, then you go, okay, well, if that's the case, I can't have his attention all the time. But this craving to still be in his presence will be there. And so that will create this desire to want to be in his presence, which is no different than being a follower. Following his lead.
Yeah.
Right? Because he has to lead his own life. He doesn't have a choice.
Right.
If he doesn't lead
does. He does not.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Especially if she's attractive.
Yeah.
So because of this, she's like, okay, well, leadership for him isn't an option. So it would never make sense for him to follow my lead.
Right.
Because the moment he does that, he's my dependent.
And women do not like having an extra dependent.
No.
Especially if she got kids.
Especially if she's a grown woman and he's a grown man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if she has kids, even worse. Like,
yeah.
It's like, dang, I have another child.
And it's funny, I've heard women describe they men like that. Like, oh, this is my other child. Like women, that's like a regular thing, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, because this way of thinking is a regular thing these days. There are a lot of mother-son dynamics.
Right.
Right. And that's in part because women can be self-sufficient now. It's the self-sufficiency aspect, the sovereign aspect, brings out the masculine, the detached from emotion state of being able to be vigilant and making sure you survive. So because women can do that now, the man at times will just go, tell me where to go. Because his primary concern is making sure that he still has the affection of her. Yeah. He's not really, that's why you'll hear when guys say, oh, well, me ask the boss. Right. Well, his primary concern is not leading the dynamic, is not even ensuring that the woman is fine. It's his primary concern. Doesn't mean he doesn't care if the woman's fine. We're talking about primary means highest level of priority, highest level of value, highest level of time and attention. Yeah. Is making sure she does not leave him. Yeah. And so when that's your number one priority, anything that risks her leaving is secondary. Yeah. So, yeah. I will never stand up for myself. I'm never going to actually correct her on anything that I know is fucked up. Yeah. And so the woman gets to a place where she feels like I'm not with a man. Yeah. Right. A boy. I'm with my son. Yeah. He does what I tell him. And there are benefits to that,
Yeah. Some women like that because they're like, oh, I have the control.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're used to that, because you're already leading your life, it's like, okay, well, I have another adult that I can also tell what to do, and it's useful, and he's bigger than me. I can tell him to go clean the room. But in that state, the woman's downside is she never gets to experience that soft depth state. And so she always has to be hard. Right. But it's against a woman's nature because now she has a dependent when she really wants somebody who can lead his own life regardless of whether or not she's being vigilant or not. Yeah. And then he can lead his life so well that he can lead her. Right. So she can eventually go.
Just exhale.
Exhale. Mm-hmm. And the analogy I always give for this is that it used to be the case that only men could drive cars. Mm-hmm. So we're going north. Only a man can drive the car. Only a man can have his hand on the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. Right. And women, by default, could only be in the passenger seat. Mm-hmm. So she had to find a man that's going into a direction she wanted to go. Or, even in the more primitive kind of settings, it's arranged. Right. This man is going in this direction. Mm-hmm. And the parents decide, okay, we like the direction he's going, get in his passenger seat. Right. Now with the advent of the liberation of women in the sense that they can now drive their own vehicles, they can be at the steering wheels of their own lives. Yeah. So what does that create. Being at the steering wheel of your life allows greater freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can decide whether you're going north, east, south, west.
Mm.
Now, what's starting to emerge is what initially created that is like, okay, well, I want to be able to have freedom, liberty.
Yeah.
That has a lot of benefits, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And those at the steering wheel also have a lot of risk.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're steering your own car and going where you want to go, if the car breaks down, you got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If you get in an accident, you're at the driver's seat. You have to take full responsibility and all the consequences that come with the car accident.
Mm-hmm.
If you got to fill the car up, everything that goes on with
you.
car is on you.
Yeah.
Which means that you're always in a masculine state. What is a masculine state? It's a disposition or a perspective on reality that focuses on making sure that the how do I word this? It's a disposition that focuses on making sure that your environment does not take you out.
Yeah.
It's a state of non-ease. It's a state
Survival
of
mode.
It's not full survival. Survival mode is a
part.
masculine disposition. Because a feminine state can have its own version of. We're talking about the principle of masculine specifically, rather than male.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Masculine is it's a state of vigilance and ensuring that your sovereignty is never taken from you, which is why men will go to war for their freedom, sovereignty. Right? We will maintain our sovereignty no matter what. Mm-hmm. And also, there's an aspect of it where you know that if you are overtaken by another male group, the women, horrible things can happen to the women, but it's less likely they'll be killed. They may be violated and their rights being taken for, but because of the inherent value of women we described earlier, particularly beautiful women, there is almost no benefit to taking on the men if I were to take over a land or something, because they're just potential enemies that could revolt or something within your own force. Mm-hmm. Whereas the women, they have value that could be integrated into the new land. Mm-hmm. But going back to that state of vigilance, it's a state that's always on alert to ensure that you don't succumb or lose your sovereignty. Right. So we talked about, again, masculinity and sovereignty. Every masculine quality is an outroot of the term sovereignty, self-governance. Yeah. And so when you're in a masculine disposition, your primary concern is to ensure that your self-governance is not taken away. Right. But what comes with self-governance comes with all the things that come with driving your own car. Mm-hmm. So you can govern yourself. That's fine. But you have to understand that every mistake made, every wrong turn made, all that will come on you. Makes sense. And then so that's called the sovereign impulse. Mm-hmm. within the psyche. And then we have the supportive impulse, which is on the feminine side. Mm-hmm. This is a softer side. You're in the passenger seat. You don't get to determine the final on what the direction the steering wheel goes. Mm-hmm. However, you do, well, ideally, you have a say in, I've noticed this, because now you're able to, now that you're not focused on the wheel of the car, you're in a more eased state to where you can notice things that the driver might not. Yeah. And say, hey, I noticed this, or hey, there's a thing. It's like, okay, let me course correct. So when you are in that driver's position, or when you're in the support position, the payoff you get is that all of the brunt of every decision, you don't have to always be in a vigilant state. Mm-hmm. The only time somebody in the support position is in a vigilant state is if somebody's at the wheel that they don't think is a very good driver. Right. But a person who gets in the passenger seat of somebody who's an excellent driver has an amazing experience, mm-hmm. because they don't have to focus and preoccupy themselves with the vigilance of what's going on at the driver's wheel all the time, so they can have a break. Right. The driver can have a break as well and go in a feminine state when the car is stopped. But you still, in some sense, always have to be vigilant. Right. That never really goes away. And so there's a state of tension. Again, not in the ultimate sense, because then we can go into, God being a higher level of driver, and you can access a state of, we're talking about just in the general romantic relationships, how we're going to go into that. So that state allows for less control over the direction of the car, but more ease and relaxation, right? Yeah. So this is a softer side of the journey, right? Where you can take a nap and you still get there. Yeah. But especially for today's women, in most relationships, the woman or women are getting to believe, I'm tired of driving this damn car on my own. This was cool, but I want a man that knows how to drive. Yeah. And so I'd say the propaganda is that the men who know how to drive best are the men with the most money. Right. And two seconds of thought will show why that can't be true. And I'm not saying a guy with a lot of money can't be a good driver. But if that's the only heuristic, that's, as long as he has a lot of money, he's going to be a great driver. As long as he has a lot of money, I'm going to have a lot of state of ease. Yeah. Any woman, and if you're a woman and you've bought into this, you should know better than anything that the highest priority to you as a woman is your emotional well-being. Right. It doesn't matter how great and luxurious the trip is if you hate being in this man's presence. Yeah, that's true. So your highest priority is how you feel in the man's presence, in the driver's presence. You want to be in a nice Rolls Royce. Oh, you're driving all right, but you hate where you are. It's an absolutely miserable experience through life. It's an absolutely miserable car ride. Yeah. So many women either have been in the situation where they've said, okay, because again, a woman's natural state is to, I don't want to be driving all the time. That's not the feminine state. Yeah. Right. But partly because of many men failing, using their I'm the driver-ness to subjugate a woman prior, and many women may have grown up seeing that. Or she's been in an experience where the guy said, well, I'm the driver of the car, and she was noticing or wanting to provide suggestions that would have gotten them to a better place than they got. She's like, you know what? I'm going to drive my own car.
Yeah, I don't even trust somebody else driving.
And so let's say that, the driver representing men, let's say the past 4 drivers she's experienced has been negative, then she may just assume men are just not good drivers. Yeah. And I just have to, I don't want to. And she may know like there exists a small percentage of men that are probably good drivers, but it's like, I can't run into
experience them. I don't know these men.
Exactly. And so she's in the driver's seat and she's seeing other cars drive by and she's seeing a couple women going sleep in the passenger seat. Right. And dudes and she I want that. Right. And it's sometimes if resentment's within her, he must be abusive. That's why she's having a easy time, or make some up to justify why she doesn't have, or she hasn't.
That good of a driver.
No, I can drive better myself. And that's fine. Like, drive your life. It's like, drive your car. Nobody's worried about your situation. Go thrive. Right. If that's the choice you made, that's the beauty of everybody being able to choose now. Yeah. But deep down in the core, she wants to take her foot off the gas for a little bit.
For sure.
And so what she's looking for is, can I find a man that's a good driver and a good man? Mm-hmm. And so I can finally be at ease. Yeah. And so initially how it usually looks is that she'll go and they'll come together and like, okay, we can't drive 2 different cars. Right. Right, we're like driving or going to New York, but we're in 2 different cars. Both of us are in the driver's seat. That doesn't work. Yeah. So we're going to eventually, one of us is going to have to come in the car. But One of us is going to have to be in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the driver's seat does not look like every decision is made by the same person.
Right.
Right. Technically speaking, there's different areas of life where the woman has the driver's seat, and particularly within the home, she'll have more insight than outside of the home, the masculine plane, with the internal being the feminine plane.
Right.
So technically speaking, when it comes to the children, when it comes to certain things, she kind of has the drive, but we're talking about the macro movements. But she doesn't want the overall macro movement of always having to be vigilant with the steering wheel.
Exactly.
But what happens within the car, that'll be her domain, typically. Yeah. So as they're driving, she's like, okay, I know I can't experience a soft state unless I get in the passenger seat. Because otherwise, for a woman, it's like, why would I go into a car where I'm the driver and the guy's in the passenger seat? Yeah. That's just, can't wrap my mind around it. Right. Like, what's the point of me just getting a man that gets into my passenger seat?
Right.
So they're very resistant to that, which is why a lot of women are not open to dating men that make less than them, because they've been indoctrinated to conflate a man's value or the quality of his ability to drive, or even his trajectory, with how much money is he making. Yeah. Which, so many flaws with that, but hey, that's a different conversation for a different time. But if she has a bit of wisdom, or she has a bit of reflection, and even thinks about that for 2 seconds, she'll realize that there's more to a man than his pocket. It matters my experience in the car. So as they're driving and she goes into the passenger seat like, oh shit, I'm about to park my car, this is risky. If she's had a lot of negative experiences being in the passenger seat before, she actually she usually won't have that initial vigilance. I mean, that initial ease. Yeah. She'll still kind of like be in the passenger seat, but remember, watch out for that car. And he's like, chill. Sweetheart, I got this. I got it. Yeah. Right. And she's like, okay, I've had so many negative experiences with poor drivers. Yeah. I got into a couple car accidents. He jumped out the car and left me in the passenger, all kinds of stuff. So she's, and so vigilant. But after a while
of her repeatedly seeing,
right, she's like, oh dang, he saw some shit I didn't even see that he saw. Okay. After a while, she starts to go, okay. And then it goes from, I don't need to watch every move. I've seen this for a while now. Then it goes from, I don't need to watch every move, to, I guess I could take a deep breath, to, I'm dozing off in the passenger seat, to, maybe they're doing other things while he's driving.
I thought you was going to say she goes to sleep. You took that thing up.
After that, she goes to sleep.
Right.
But nah, in all seriousness, the level of confidence she has in the driver becomes so high that's when that deep feminine state comes. Right. So usually at that point, because they're both going in the same direction, she's confident in the leadership she has, she can go in that deep, say, the feminine ease. And then from there, usually if he's like, hey, can you pass me a bottle of water? Of course. Because why wouldn't she? Right.
At this point, it's like, he's getting us to the destination.
Why would I try to hamper?
Yeah. Why would I not support the person who's getting us there?
And I'm getting to be in my soft
state. Yeah.
Right. Why would I deprive him of the water that would disrupt the entire thing for both of us?
Exactly.
And so once that's understood and the alignment is there, it's a lot easier. But fundamentally, those things have to be considered. One, to go back and close out. Leadership is taking somebody better, taking somebody somewhere they can't take themselves, or taking somebody somewhere faster than they can take themselves. Right. Right. So they follow because it benefits them. And in that following, as a leader, you understand you have the authority, but you have the responsibility. Right. If you put the blame and point the blame on the followers, then the followers become the leaders. What is a woman looking for? She understands that a man must lead his life and he has no choice, because a man must be self-sufficient. Nobody's coming to save him, especially as he enters manhood. Right. Right. Especially the older he gets, the more youth runs out. You should have learned your lesson by now.
Yeah.
right? We're not as lenient on men.
Right.
And so because men are self-sufficient and they have to have self-sufficiency and support in a way that women don't have to, then she understands fundamentally that if I'm going to ever be in the feminine or a softer experience of life where I'm not at the steering wheel 24/7, then I need to find a competent driver.
Right.
And so if he is driving the car, he's by definition leading. And I can't be leading and being soft at the same time. I got to pick one.
Yeah.
And so she goes, well, I want a situation where I don't have to be constantly vigilant and trying to guard against me losing my freedom because the person I'm with values my sovereignty and values his sovereignty, values the sovereignty of the family, and wants us to continually expand. And she feels like she matters, feels like what she has to suggest matters, but respects him enough to know that I'm going to trust the final thing that he says.
Yeah.
Because if I want the final word, then if we drive and we crash, then I'm going to have to fix this.
Right.
And that's usually the part that most women don't want. I don't want to have to fix all the things if we crash.
Yeah. All right. So my next question is, why do so many modern men either overcorrect into control or shrink into people pleasing? Where does this confusion come from? Upbringing, social media, past relationships? Like, what is that?
It's actually probably rarer that guys overcorrect into control these days. It's probably more so the case back in the day. And I'd say because back in the day, one, there is a false assumption that there are quite a few factors. A false assumption that because you're the man, she has to follow.
Yeah.
The false assumption that if you make a mistake as a leader, or if your woman has a suggestion, if you are willing to hear her out, that makes you less of a man in some way. That she saw something that maybe you overlooked.
Right.
Again, how a woman goes about saying that matters. You can't just be disrespectful about it. But
exactly.
There's that false assumption. There was just the actual restriction of the freedom, right? Like a woman just didn't have as many opportunities in terms of a lot of things. And if it's a modern day thing, I think fundamentally a man kind of knows that he craves the affection of a woman if he's heterosexual.
Yeah.
And in doing so, oftentimes there's a woman for him that he craves the affection for more than any other woman. You may want to have sex with other women, but there's a particular woman that has his heart, meaning he doesn't want her to go anywhere. He wants her to love him forever.
Right.
Now, because women are free beings just like men, and they can say no, and they have free will, if he feels as if the woman that he wants the affection of the most is going to potentially leave or potentially not want to go in the direction he wants to go, then there can come this desire to control.
Yeah.
Right. Not necessarily because that's different from cooperation and leadership. Control is, I don't care that you don't want to do this thing. He wants two things. I want you to do this thing, and I want you to stay with me.
Right.
But in reality, if somebody does not want to do a thing, there's no way to make them do the thing unless you use violence. And so in actuality, if somebody doesn't want to do something you want to do, and this is vital for your vision or your purpose, then the only option would be to have a conversation and see and communicate the right way. But if the communication is perfect and it's not really a contentious situation, and the person just says, that's not the direction I want to go, then the only choice there is to go the direction you're going to go regardless,
Yeah.
and just end the situation.
So what about like manipulation and stuff like that?
Well, that usually comes in play when the guy does not want that girl to go.
Yeah.
That only comes in if you can't let go of her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to control a woman you're willing to let go of.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes that's a situation where the man feels as if he'll be less valuable if that woman no longer wants him.
Mm.
And so his value partly comes from the affection of that woman. And so if she stops having affection for him, so what if he goes in the direction he actually intended to? Mm. It won't matter if she's not there with him. Mm. So the control, it's really a battle of what's more important to me. Or can I have a situation where I have the woman and I have what I want,
right,
or go the direction I want,
too.
Right?
Yeah.
But there are times where you guys just aren't seeing eye to eye, and you have to just let the situation go. You have to prioritize the vision you have over the affection of the woman you love.
Right.
But if you can't let go of the woman you love, even if she's going in the opposite direction, that's usually where control comes in. Mm-hmm. Right. You want her to be a particular thing that she doesn't want to be, which means you're out of alignment. But I'm going to reject the fact that I'm out of alignment, and I'm going to simply try to control the situation.
To force the issue, yeah.
So it's an inability to let go that the control usually comes in. Mm-hmm. And you might take a lot of losses. You may have invested a lot and all that, but sorry, that doesn't really, and that's a whole different video, but it just doesn't mean you can ever buy a person's free will away. Whatever, no amount of gifts, no amount of nothing. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, why so many guys are doormats? That one is just the same side of a different coin. I mean, different side of the same coin, mm-hmm. which is that the average guy these days, his highest priority is the affection of a woman that he wants. Yeah. So it's simply a case of, if my God is the affection of my woman, mm-hmm. then anything she says she needs, anything she says I should do, mm-hmm. is my highest priority. There is no such thing as principle. There is no such thing as saying no or standing up for myself or having a spine. Why would I have a spine against, if I could just do anything she tells me to do, and by me, because the logic is, if I do everything she tells me to do, then she'll stay. Right. And if my highest priority is for her to stay, then I'll just do anything she tells me to do. Right. That's great logic. The problem usually comes in when he realizes that you don't garner a woman's affection by doing everything she tells you to do. Right. And that's usually the harder lesson that a guy learns. He usually starts off, quote unquote, nice guy. I'm gonna do everything that I did so much for her. I did so much for her. Right. When he was supposed to never do anything for her. He was only supposed to do things he wanted to do. Yeah. Now, if he actually loves and cares about her, he will do things that benefit her because he wants to do it. Yeah. But it's not doing things for her in fear of her leaving him. Right. Because then, of course, you're a doormat, because the entirety of your choices and the entirety of your identity is based around whether or not she'll give you pussy, give you affection, give you the time of day, tell you she loves you, whatever that soft state that you crave. Yeah. If you're affection deprived, it's like, I'll do anything not to go back to be with just myself, mm-hmm. because I'm not sure if I can get another woman, mm-hmm. or I'm not sure if I can get another woman that I like as much as her that likes me back. Yeah, and that's a dangerous game. Dangerous game. Yeah. So that's more where the doormat situations are coming from. Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean to lead emotionally, sexually, and spiritually, not just logistically? Are you guiding the energy, or not just the plan? What does that mean?
Could you repeat the question?
So what does it mean to lead emotionally, sexually, and spiritually, not just logistically?
Because we just went over logistical leadership. Yeah. We kind of went over. We talked about sexual leadership before. So I'll touch emotional leadership. From the woman's point of view, the way she perceives it is that a woman is not trying to not be deep within her emotions. Right. She just prefer to be deep within emotions that she wants to be in. That right. Part. So a woman is not a woman wants to be deep in her emotions. She wants to feel all the experience and all the things. Have you ever talked about this again? Have you ever seen a woman eat? Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. All these things. Right. And if you've ever taken women to a place sexually, which we'll go into the sexual leadership part in a moment, you understand very quickly that as a man, we can't truly know because, we're not in a woman's body, but if you know how to take a woman to an outer body level, and penetrate her mind, her heart, her body pleasurably all at the same time, that unlocks a different level of pleasure that I don't know if any man can eclipse.
Right.
Like in terms of how we feel in sex compared to how like a woman will. I won't be too graphic on here because we already had that conversation.
Yeah,
but
we did.
So that depth of experience, that depth of emotion, that depth of pleasure can get so intense.
Yeah.
So intense. And that's where she wants to be, but on the positive side of the scale. Even if she's in a BDSM or something more pain-stricken, it's just another range of positive emotion. It's not necessarily that she wants negative emotion.
Right.
There is a positive feeling associated with it fundamentally, even if pain seems to be on the surface. And that can be a little more complicated too, but just in general, that's going to be the depths of feeling. So women want to feel that depth of experience.
Right.
So emotional leadership usually is going to look like, on the man's side, just his ability to not submit and be a slave to his own emotion. So a woman is, as I said, wants to be in the depth, but she wants a man that doesn't want to be in the depth, but chooses whether or not he can be in the depth.
Right.
If he can't choose, then that's a very unstable person.
Yeah.
So when he gets angry, no sovereignty. When he's happy, no sovereignty.
Yeah.
So a woman instinctively knows that because emotions are the feminine side, the within, the internal, and they have another nature to them, which is that they're unpredictable. Right? You can have some level of influence on your emotion by adjusting your perceptual filters, but emotions will just emerge, and she doesn't know where they're coming from.
Right.
And so because of that, if she can't predict her emotions, and all that dictates her behavior is her emotions, she also can't predict her behavior. And so if she's with a man that is also emotionally in tune, reading the intensity, but he also lacks the sovereignty, then she also knows he can't predict his emotion, which means she can't predict his behavior.
Right.
So it's going to lead to a place where I don't know what's going to come next from him. Chaotic. And which is anti-masculine.
Right.
So she wants consistency and stability in terms of your identity.
Right.
And in part, your identity are your actions. So if you consistently are unstable, then your identity is unstable. You're identityless.
Right.
And she doesn't want a man she doesn't know. Or she knows him as a man she doesn't know. That's his identity. I never know what I'm going to get.
Right.
So she can't have that emotional depth because she has to always be vigilantly making sure that she's governing her behavior, because if she doesn't do it, she can't trust that he's not going to get up one day and do all kinds of random stuff or not do something and then say something and not do it, and all these things. So emotional leadership fundamentally is just the ability to govern your emotion as a man. Sexual leadership is going to involve being able to allow the woman to go in a relaxed state during sex, to where she's in that feminine, experiential, receptive state, and you're going to dictate and direct what's going to happen next. So if it's a social sex level, you're going to initiate. Hey, you're gorgeous. We should get to know each other. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Lead that and then allow her to be receptive. Am I down with that? Am I not down with that?
Right.
Then on the physical plane of sex, that could look like you actually initiating the sex, meaning, and that could look like a million different things depending on the context. Or if it's psychological sex, you planting the fantasy in her mind of what you're going to do to her and where you're going to or what character she's going to be.
Right.
rather than what most, because most guys just don't know about the psychological plane of sex. It's not that they wouldn't do it, they just don't know how to do it, and they don't know what to say. And but it's painting a narrative where the woman is a character, and she's the character. Usually it's going to be something naughty, right? Usually it's going to be something that's outside her range of, usually in the psychological sex plane, it's going to be something that she knows she shouldn't be doing, right? That's usually the most erotic places. If you've read any level of erotica is psychological sex. Men tend to be more visual, so they'll watch porn, like visual porn, whereas women are more, they're visual in a different way. The eyes that they're pinging for is the imaginative eye, right? The internal eye. Whereas men, we want the external eye. So if you can activate a woman's internal eye, which is the psychological plane, psychological sex for a man would involve him putting her in a position or putting her within a storyline, and he's dictating the storyline of the naughty thing she's going to be in that plane and what he's going to do to her, right? And so that's, women seek this out. This is, men don't buy erotica.
Right.
Like, it's very rare. But women seek that fantasy plane that's outside of reality, outside of the bounds of reality, where she can, in the confines of her mind, with no judgment, explore the darkest or the most taboo, whatever fantasy she wants, or it could be something plain that day.
Yeah.
Right? But she can explore the range of her sexual desires within her mind.
Right.
But if you're a man that happens to be non-judgmental and can assist her in the exploration and just put her in one of those roles, then it will amplify things even further when you get to the physical plane.
That part.
But typically that's part skipped.
Right.
And the physical plane is where guys go immediately. So go social and physical, where the emphasis at that point is just the technique, right? Like, how well are you stroking? What's the depth? What's the speed?
Yeah.
What parts of the bodies are being touched while you do certain things when not being touched, right? It's pressure, right? How much pressure are you applying with your hand? All these different things are more the technical, physical plane, which men tend to gravitate to more. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And then the spiritual is usually when all that almost gets merged into one experience.
Yeah. And
it feels like more of like your bodies dissolve into each other, and it's almost soul sex, right? It's like it's you know, we talked about this, the tantric stuff and whatnot. But people may have experienced that once or twice unintentionally, or if they have a really good lover, they experience this every night. But that's usually the sexual leader taking the initiative and allowing the woman to just be on the experiential side. What was the last one?
Spiritually.
Spiritually is a little more complicated. I'd just say, what is a man's relationship between, like, who's a man's ultimate consultant? Right? Does he consult with, spiritual leadership is a woman paying attention to who a man consults when he is beyond his own wits.
Yeah.
Like when he's at his limit and is not sure what, because every man has a limit, right? We're all human.
Yeah.
But when he's at his limit, who does he consult?
Right.
Right? Does he consult a higher power or not? And then when he consults that higher power and gets the information, that could be in a book, that could be within a conversation within, does his actions match the information he received?
Right.
So spiritual leadership is all about, are you living with the understanding or living out in action what the higher power said? Or are you just saying that and doing something else?
Yeah.
Or talking.
So, how can a man lead without invalidating her voice?
That's a good question. Because there are times where she doesn't want to say in the thing. She's like, oh, I just want you to plan the date and just tell me when to come.
Right.
So there are times where a woman doesn't want her voice in it.
Yeah.
And then there are times where she wants her voice. I'd say it depends on just y'all's dynamic.
Yeah. It's case by case.
Yeah, that's a really specific one.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a general rule, and I haven't thought enough about this to say this is the thing, but if I were to give a general rule, if it's a decision that could drastically negatively impact her, then always tell her what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And because this varies. It also depends on how she perceives you. Like, is your reputation one of someone who's made good decisions?
Right.
Is it one who's made so? That's a lot more complicated. But I'd say, if assuming you have a good relationship with her, and you've shown up with excellence repeatedly, and she trusts you deeply already, then in that case you would continue to lead your life in alignment with the vision, and just tell her what your plans are all the time.
Yeah.
If she has any sort of blind spots that she thinks you haven't seen or thinks she's considering, if you have an open communication, she'll usually say something.
Yeah.
Women are going to tell you anyway. If she has nothing to say, she'll just go, okay.
Right.
So I'd say the best way is just to continue to declare, I'm going north, princess. I'm going south, baby. And then list out the reasons that you're making this macro move. Because your woman also leads in different areas. If she runs the household as far as like food, she's not going, should I get cornflakes or bran flakes? Like, she's just gonna buy the stuff, and if you don't like it, then she go, can you get me some Fruity Pebbles? Okay. Like, next time she'll get some. It's not micromanaging every little thing.
Yeah.
Just like how you'd be like, baby, I don't give a damn about, just get some cereal. Like, I'm out here. Like, that's not that deep.
Yeah.
And so similarly, she doesn't want necessarily everything is like, do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do this?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm thinking of doing this, and these are the reasons. And you tell her the benefit, like why, and this is aligning and benefiting us both. And if she sees something that you might not see, she'll say it. And then it's inviting her to understand that, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I can see it, and then actually have a dialogue. And if there's something she says for why you're like, well, that might not be the best move, then it's learning how to communicate in a way where that's discussed, but her point of view still feels validated, rather than it being like, what the fuck you talking about? That's some dumb shit right there. I'm going this. Right? Right? Of course. She's going to be like, what the hell? Even if you're right. That's not the point.
Yeah, that ain't the way to.
That's not the way.
Yeah, no. Okay, so what would change if you started okay, my bad. What would change if you started leading based on your values instead of her reactions?
Ooh.
This is the end. My last question.
Well, if you started prioritizing your values instead of her emotions, one, you'd actually be the leader.
Yeah.
Because
Amen.
if you prioritize her emotions dictate your actions. You're not leading.
Right.
But her emotions matter, so it's not as if like your woman's just miserable and it doesn't matter, right? That's the part where you actually listen to what she's saying and why she's feeling what she's feeling, so that you can understand. Because most times it's a misunderstanding of what she thinks you mean and what you actually mean.
Right.
But leading with your values, for one, honestly, you shouldn't even be pairing with a woman that doesn't align with your values in the macro. Like, that should be something that's resolved from jump.
Yeah.
Right. Pairing with somebody who has opposing values is a dangerous game that can be almost impossible to fix.
Yeah.
Because values are what we deem important, and values dictate our emotion or actions, our direction.
Yeah.
So if I value north and you value south, and you go, well, when I go north, she cries and says, I want to go south instead. You have fundamentally different values. Mm-hmm. So if you do go south and make her happy, mm-hmm. and then she leaves, you're stuck in south that you never wanted to be, and you're miserable.
Yeah.
One, you're miserable all the way to south. Mm-hmm. You're also miserable if she leaves, which is usually what happens when guys violate their values. Yeah. Secondly, on the way to south, she won't respect you because she understood that ultimately you're not your own man. You're not a sovereign man, mm-hmm. right? You're a puppet. And she knows if I really want to have him do whatever I want him to do, all I got to do is tell him that I'm upset. Mm-hmm. And he's not really the type to stand on his square. Right. And it's not stand on your square in a way that's combative with your partner. It's standing on your square that you don't lose your identity within the relationship. Right? The vision still exists. Now, we might have to navigate that. And if it's a case where she's like, no, I want to go south and you want to go north, mm-hmm. then you might have to split that relationship up. Yeah. Right? Don't force her to go north if it's a fundamental thing that's against her values. If it's a misunderstanding or she doesn't know that north has the things she thought she wanted from south, mm-hmm. that's different. That's a conversation. Yeah. But if it's a fundamental thing, I want you to be an atheist and you want to be a Christian, for you to become an atheist because she's upset with you or you're afraid to lose her, the moment you do that, one, no respect for you remaining, right? Because she knows that you're not an individual that she can trust. Mm-hmm. Because if she can manipulate you so easily to abandon your identity and quite literally sacrifice yourself mm-hmm. to be with her, then she also knows that with every move you make, she's really the one making the move. Yeah. And you're pinging to see, like, is this okay with you? Is this okay with you? Why? Because you're trying to avoid her getting upset. Yeah. So she's really the leader. She's never going to be in that state of ease. And you're probably not going to have a very great experience.
Right. Okay, I got one more question.
Sure.
What is one small way a man can practice leadership in his relationship today without force or without fear?
The easiest way to practice leadership is always to just go no. Right? That's the best starting point. Say no to things that you know you're supposed to say no to. Mm. Not in a way that's you're just being an asshole or something just because you're resentful. Mm-hmm. And after watching this video, you're like, oh man, I've been a pussy my whole life. It's just a calm acknowledgement of the fact that the reason you make a decision for yourself, the easiest way is to start leading yourself. Mm-hmm. There are things you're saying yes to that you know that you should be saying no to. The only reason you're not saying no is because you're afraid of her reaction or you're afraid of her threatening to leave you. Right. And so you go, well, it's easier for me to just say yes to everything because at least she'll stay, right. Even though you're miserable. And so the easiest way is to say no to a few small things that you know you're supposed to say no to. Start with yourself. Mm-hmm. You go towards the fridge, you know you're overweight or you know you're not in the shape you used to be. You know, there's certain things that you're doing. Just say, no. And that will allow you to start reclaiming your sovereignty, which is the leadership over yourself. And then there's certain things your woman she may raise her voice at you. And you really don't like that. You don't like to be disrespectfully said, sweetheart, there's no more raising your voice. We're not going to communicate like that. Now, you have to not be raising your voice first. You can't be raising your voice at her and then come say, oh, well, you shouldn't raise. You need to set the example first. Mm-hmm. But assuming you're setting the example, you're showing up with respect with her, is going, no, that's not how we communicate anymore. Yeah. And she's going to have an adverse reaction initially if you've been a punk the whole time. But it's being able to withstand that emotional storm and go, I'm not upset with you, but I'm not going to accept you talking to me like I'm some sub. It's crazy how men allow this. They allow women to talk to them in ways they wouldn't allow their sons to be talked to if it was someone else. Mm-hmm. but you're not some degenerate, lesser life form.
Right.
So you deserve to be treated with respect. And so it's just simply saying no. I was like, this is how we'll speak with each other. And she can't refute that because she knows she doesn't want the things she's doing to you to be done to her.
Yeah.
So it's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I suggest. Start saying no more.
Okay.
All right, gents. If this is a situation you're struggling with this, if you made it this far, simply, there should be a link in the description below. You can book a call with us to make sure that you are doing this the right way, you're applying this the right way, so that we can reset your relationship, or help you reset your relationship, because we don't reset it for you, obviously. You're the king of your castle. But there's information that you may not have, which is fine. If you had the information, you'd have the result. So if that's something that seems like you want it, then click the link down below and book a call at a time that's convenient for you. And we're going to see if we can help. With that, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.